driving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. It is November 19th. It's a Sunday. And we are going to be talking about Tradition 9. I know. Such captivating stuff. It's actually a lot of really neat stuff in the traditions. If you're willing to take a look at it and read it and see what it's about. The traditions are just as important as the steps, because without the traditions, AA would cease to exist. And then we would have new thing. We would have nothing, not a thing. That's what nothing equals. Seems like I had a different set of drawers over here. Seems like I did. We're not going to get anybody today, are we? Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to give it to 30 or the 3-minute mark, and then I will get started as usual. Let's go do it. Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion, your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. All right. It was disappointing. All right, so I was looking at an ad somebody put in, trudging together, but it works. It works. Tradition 9. Did I do introductions? I believe I did. If not, then that's all right. I'm not going to do them again. All right, so AA as such. Hey, Amber, good to see you. Wasn't sure anybody was joining me yet. AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those that they serve. Now, tradition 9 isn't too long. And I'm hoping that they talk about the spiritual rotation in here, because that's kind of what I wanted to get to. But let's go ahead and do it. When Tradition 9 was first written, it was said that Alcoholics Anonymous needs to be the least possible organization. In the years since, we have changed our minds about that. Today, we are able to say with assurance that Alcoholics Anonymous, AA as a whole, should never be organized at all. Then, in seeming contradiction, we proceed to create special service boards and committees which in themselves are organized. How, then, can we have an unorganized movement which can and does create service organizations for itself? Scanning this puzzler, people say, what do they mean by no organization? It means nobody can really tell anybody else what to do. We're trusted servants, And when you're a trusted servant, what you're doing is service work. That is service work, right? Each group is supposed to have what's called a GSR, a general service representative. And this is the person that leads the meetings. Okay, is the GSR. The GSR is supposed to be going to meetings with other GSRs, getting the information, bringing it back so we can vote on it. And that is how we're actually supposed to be doing things in those meetings. And if your GSR is not going to the meetings, then you are not, then you don't get to vote. You're still a part of AA, but you don't get to vote because you don't know anything about it. Just like the Winter Symposium this weekend, and I fucking do nothing about it. I'm very disappointed in myself. All right. Well, let's see. Did anyone ever hear of a nation, a church, a political party, even a benevolent association that had no membership rules? Did anyone ever hear of a society which couldn't somehow discipline its members and enforce obedience to necessary rules and regulations? No. AA is the only one that I know of, or the 12 steps is the only one that I really know. So, hi Ingrid, and thank you. Yeah, I appear better. I'm doing a little bit better. My wife's home. Heck yeah, I'm doing better. Doesn't nearly every society on earth give authority to some of its members to impose obedience upon the rest or to punish or expel offenders? Therefore, every nation in every form of society has to be a government administered by human beings. Power to direct or govern is the essence of organization everywhere. Yet, Alcoholics Anonymous is an exception. We've always been deceived. We seem to be the exception to the rule, and that's because we carry ourselves differently than most other people. Right? We do. We carry ourselves differently. It does not conform to this pattern. Okay? Neither is the General Service Conference its foundation board, nor the humblest group committee can issue a single directive to AA members and make it stick, let alone met out any punishment, like kicking people out of a group. Yeah. We made a mistake a few months back, and it needs to be corrected. Can issue a single to an A, let alone, we've tried lots of times, but utter failure is always the result. Groups have tried to expel members, but the banished have come back to sit in the meeting place saying, this is life for us. You can't keep us out. Committees have instructed many in AA to stop working on a chronic backslider, only be told, how I do my 12-step work is my business. Who are you to judge? This doesn't mean that AA won't take advice or suggestions from more experienced members, but she surely won't take orders. Who is more unpopular than the old-time AA full of wisdom who moves to another area and tries to tell a group there how to run its business? He and like all of him who view with alarm of the good of AA meet the most stubborn resistance, or worse still, laughter. Okay. You'll get that. I kind of went through this, and I get it. Okay, that's why I can see it. When you have somebody that had a long time and they went out and they come back, they will try and rule the group. They will try and rule the group. Is their brain trying to tell them that they're better than they are now? Okay, just let them go through their stuff. Okay. Yeah, it leads to more drinking, but they've got to learn a lesson. And the lesson is that we're not any better than, we're not any more than, neither are you any less than anybody else in the group. We're all on equal standing, every single one of us. What we decide to do with that is up to us. That's what singles us out. You might think AA's headquarters in New York would be an exception. No. Surely the people there must have some authority. But long ago, trustees and staff members alike found they could do more than make suggestions, and very mild ones at that. They even had to coin a couple of sentences, which still go into half the letters they write. Of course, you are perfect liberty to handle this matter any way you please, but the majority experience in AA does seem to suggest now that attitude is far removed from central office, isn't it? We recognize the alcoholic can't be dictated to individually or collectively. Okay. But yet we are doomed to repeat if we do not understand what our more experienced members did before us. We are now going to become the more experienced members. Become the more experienced members. That doesn't necessarily mean time, it means read the 12 by 12, understand it, go through it with somebody, understand these traditions. They mean something. They are the cement that holds us together. And without the traditions, we have nothing. There won't be a group because it won't work. Okay? We have to follow these traditions. At this juncture, we can hear a churchman exclaim, "They are making disobedience a virtue." He is joined by a psychiatrist, "Defiant brats, they won't give up and conform to social usage." The man in the street says, "I don't understand it. They must be nuts." We are, but we know what we're doing. How these crazy band of erratics suddenly know what they're doing. It's hard for normies to understand that maybe suddenly something has changed in our lives. Okay? Because let's remember, none of this is possible without a higher power. None of it is possible. Okay? Otherwise, I would just be a judgmental asshole with an alcohol problem. I'd rather be doing this. But all these observers have overlooked something unique in Alcoholics Anonymous. Unless each AA member follows to the best of his abilities our suggested 12 steps to recovery, he almost certainly signs his own death warrant. Okay? That's the thing. If you don't conform, you won't be around, and therefore it does not matter. There's nothing for us to tell you what to do because you won't be there. And we know this. We know that rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Yes, we suggest things in the big book. We suggest them because no one likes being told what to do, especially alcoholics. Especially alcoholics. Lifelong, denial brings trauma. So his drunkenness and disillusionment are not penalties inflicted by people in authority. They result from his personal disobedience to spiritual principles. Not only that, but we have a disease, and gosh, don't you think we've been through enough? Don't you think that we've paid our fucking dues? I do. And I don't care if you're 15 and in this program. I think you paid your dues. If that's what you think, that's what I think. Okay? You do not need to go as low as everybody else to pay your dues, man. That's not a requirement. We don't do that here. Okay? Because normies will think rock bottom and they think of something differently than we do. Okay? They do. They don't understand rock bottom like we do. We understand that there is no rock bottom. There's bottom. And that should be enough. Right? So all of our lives, people have been telling us what we need to be and how we need to fucking behave. Then we come to AA and people are like, "Oh, do what you need to do. That's what it's here for." It must be Gary. Hey, Gary. The same stern threat applies to the group itself. Unless there is an approximate conformity to the AA's 12 traditions, the group too can deteriorate and die. I've seen this plant happen. I've seen it happen. Usually it's a group that divides off from another group because they don't agree with what's going on. And anytime you cause division, it's probably not going to work. Hi, Patricia. Good to see you. I should know by the good afternoon. Yes. So we of AA do obey spiritual principles. First, because we must, and ultimately because we love the kind of life such obedience brings. Great suffering and great love are AA's disciplinaries. We need no others. We've already been disciplined. Our life of alcoholism was discipline enough, man. Okay. Now we're going to put a little discipline into our lives, and that means structure. That means we're going to follow something, and that way of life is just so much better. And it's better because we bring hope to luster and tired eyes, man. Okay. We bring a hope other people just cannot do. Okay. But we paid a price for that. Okay. And that price hurt. It also meant that we had to do, we were born with a disease where we were going to have to do a fourth and fifth step from the day we were fucking born, man. Okay. Alcoholism is different from a lot of other things. And recovery, the recovery is, most of it is the same. I want to say that it is because I want everybody to be able to have a chance. So I say that. It is clear now that we ought never to name boards to govern us. But it is equally clear that we shall always need to authorize workers to serve us. It is the difference between the spirit of vested authority and the spirit of service, two concepts which are sometimes poles apart. It is the spirit of service that we elect AA's Group Informals Rotating Committee, the Intergroup Association for the area, and the GSC for the Alcoholics Anonymous for AA as a whole, so General Service Conference. Even our foundation, once an independent board, is today directly accountable to our fellowship. Its trustees are caretakers and expediters of our world services. Just as the aim of, there's only two more paragraphs. So just as the aim of each AA member is the personal sobriety, the aim of our service is to bring sobriety within reach of all who want it. Let's repeat that. The aim of our services is to bring sobriety within reach of all who want it. That means we are going to bring AA to them, not sit in our little groups and wait for people to show up. We can't do that anymore. It's changing, which is cool. Corona put a big dent in that for a while. So if we do not reply to our mail, then AA as we know it would stop. Our communication lines with those who need our help would be broken. So imagine one day AA World Services closed down. That'd be one scary thing for me. That would scare the hell out of me. All right. AA has to function, but at the same time, it must avoid these dangers of great wealth, prestige, and entrenched power which necessarily tempt the other societies. Though Tradition 9 is the first, at first sight, seems to deal with purely practical matter, is an actual operation. It discloses a society without organization, animated only by the spirit of service, a true fellowship. So see, it's service. Okay, that service workforce, right? What's the other thing that's important about that? You got to rotate out. Okay. Like, there's some people, 3 people. Okay, I got to step down. No, just let it go. God will cover. What are you so fearful of to let it go? I let mine go. Somebody picked it up. It was perfect. It worked great. Why? Because I had trust in God. Because I knew I was wholeheartedly letting it go. It's the group that won't let me go. They still co-host me. I'm like, I stood down, man. I'm not a co-host. You got too many. We don't need 50 co-hosts. You need like 5. Otherwise, it just gets confusing. Okay. And I did my months of deciding who gets to come in the meeting and who gets kicked out. I did mine. Now it's somebody else's turn. Okay. If nobody picks up that mantle, there's not much I can do with that. Okay. So, all right. I want to go to a noon meeting, but I don't want to be picked on. Like, people like, you want to talk to Yon? Thank you. I hope you have a good day too. I'm sure I might be back again one more time by the end of the day, but who knows? All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yay, Tradition 9. I love you all. Peace out. And thanks. Even on these quote unquote boring ones, we got to talk about everything, man. So I know it just isn't as exciting. I love you. Peace out and have a day.